Hello and welcome into the JAXUSL Report along with Mauricio Ruiz. I'm Cole Pepper. Well, this is our first JAXUSL Report since the end of the USL Championship season, but we have a lot of soccer news to get to, so let's jump right into it with big news in women's soccer where the U.S. women's national team has made the hire. New head coach coming in, Emma Hayes, who has been at Chelsea. You see her track record, pretty impressive, since 2012 at Chelsea. She's won 238 games. That is about a 70% win clip. 6 times she's won the league in England, 5 times the FA Women's Cup, and in 2021 she was the best women's coach in the world, according to FIFA. Also has some experience coaching in the United States. Mauricio, you spent a little bit of time around her. What strikes you about Emma Hayes, the coach, and what kind of an impact is she going to have on the U.S. women's national team?
Yeah, I had an opportunity to sit in one of her lectures several years back, and I think the thing that struck out the most, she's a great coach, she's a great technical coach, she's won at every level she's been at, but one thing she talks about a lot is culture, is getting the right people on the bus, the right people in your locker room. That's more difficult to do on an international level because you're just trying to bring the best. So that's going to be the transition. That's going to be interesting to see how how you recruit at the club level is slightly different than players available at the national level. But if she's taking this job, that means that her and our sporting director, Matt Croker, have sat down and looked at the reality of winning. And when you're looking at U.S. women's soccer, the opportunity to win has been there. So how does she tweak that environment? But she's all about the right people, the right culture, the right staff.
Well, let's get a little more perspective on Emma Hayes as we bring in Becky Burleigh. Becky, this is a big hire. There's no doubt about it. What was your impression, your takeaway when you heard about it?
Massive hire. I think everyone is so excited about it. I mean, Emma has been such a successful coach every place she's been, really successful lately. I think she's up for the Coach of the Year this year. She's won 4 of the last WSL titles. She's coached some major players. I don't see how they could have not hit a better home run than what they did.
All right, so going in early, what are the big things that she has to accomplish here in the short term as she takes over the U.S. women's national team?
Yeah, that national team gig is way different than a club. But I think the hardest part is the timing. She will only come in right before the Olympics, but we've got a great interim coach in Twyla Kilgore who's done a terrific job. But at the same time, that's just such a short time to put your imprint on a team heading into a major international competition.
One of the things that Emma Hayes has in her reputation is being very strong as a leader because she really takes the time to understand her players. You can do that at a club level. What about at a national team level? Will that translate?
It is definitely a different dynamic because just the amount that you see people on a daily basis at a club versus a national team. But I think she's proven to be able to handle these personalities. I think, when you look at the people that she's coached, she already knows a couple of the people like Catarina Macario. If Mia Fischel makes the team, I mean, that's somebody that's on her club now. And then she's coached Sam Kerr. I think she actually coached Rapinoe back in the day, maybe with the WPS. So she's definitely had experience with being able to get in these situations and really find a way to connect with these players. And there's no doubt that that's going to be important because there's some huge decisions to be made. The Olympics, you can only take 18. That's a really limited roster. And, we have an embarrassment of riches here in the U.S., but that doesn't make the job easier because you've got to choose based on who's available, who's healthy, and who fits what you want.
And, of course, she's had her best success when she's had resources behind her. Chelsea, one of the biggest women's clubs in the world, and she's had great success there. That would seem like it would translate very well to the U.S. women's national team.
Well, the good news is that a lot of countries are putting more resources into their program. So there's no one putting more resources into the coaching salaries, though. And I think that's been something that's really rewarding to see that, she's clearly deserved a good coaching salary. And I think she feels very excited about making this move here. She's got some familiarity with it. The resources here are second to none. I'm not sure how that directly translates into wins, but it certainly beats the alternative. And for my view, she's going to have all the tools she needs. The question will be a little bit of time for this Olympics, but then we have to look past that and see that, this is not just a short term.
Well, there will be a lot of focus on the Olympics for sure. No doubt about that. Always is with the U.S., but we'll see how it all plays out as Emma Hayes makes her coaching debut for the national team. Becky, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, also as far as U.S. soccer is concerned, the U.S. U17 team is into the World Cup. Mauricio, you've made a point about this, that as far as how it augurs for the future, there's some significance to this team and how they made it in.
Yeah, and if you think about world football and some of the top nations, France, the Netherlands, Brazil, Italy, Portugal, a lot of them have this pronounced and really well-developed pro youth academies, where by the time they get to a U17 World Cup and they're on the national team, they're full pros. That's something the U.S. has been slowly kind of getting to that point. This is the first cycle where the majority of the players on the current roster playing for the U17 are actually pros already through USL academies, through the MLS Next Pro. So these are players that are no longer playing in a regular youth soccer environment. They're competing with older players. They're competing for a job and for their salary. So it's a different mindset with these players, and that shows where the U.S. is kind of catching up to the national to the world level.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that impacts how this U17 team plays, not just this year, but into the future, this generation. We'll see how it all plays out as the years work on. There was also a big event last week in the world of soccer in Miami. SoccerX, a huge convention for the soccer world, over 2,500 attendees from around the world. Germany, Portugal, the Netherlands, Canada, Mexico, so many other countries represented. Among the breakout sessions, a panel discussion on women's soccer, which included USL Super League President Amanda Vandervoort. There were also sessions on stadium development focused on sustainability and innovation and technology, diversity and inclusion, reaching young fans, the future of the European Super League. Alexi Lawless interviewed CONCACAF General Secretary Felipe Moggio. And what I took away from this event was the excitement that folks around the soccer world have about what's happening in Jacksonville with JAXUSL, how impressed they are for the plans in the future. I had a chance to chat with some folks who already knew something about what we were doing, who are not Jacksonville or Florida folks. It was exciting to see.
Yeah, and I think conventions like these, I think that's when you get really excited to know what we're doing here. People have been doing it for a long time, and you're able to learn best practices from others. But there's also this attention to like the new person in town, right? The new toy, and USL is becoming such a predominant league in the fabric of the pyramid of the US soccer. So every new market that kind of pops up, people are really interested to see what kind of presence and what kind of influence they're going to have in the bigger picture. And I think that's what we're doing. We're all trying to grow U.S. soccer in a way. So conventions like that, whether it's a national convention or SoccerX, just getting that many soccer minds together in one room, it's really refreshing to know that what we're doing, we're on the right track.
Yeah, big conversation too about the big television deal with CBS that was struck by the USL. That was certainly a topic of conversation in Miami as well. Hey, be sure to get your season ticket deposits down now for JAXUSL and for the Super League team. Go to JAXUSL.com and just click the link to make your season ticket deposit. Get it locked in, just $25, and you'll be ready to go when pro soccer returns to Jacksonville. For Mauricio Ruiz and Becky Burleigh, I'm Cole Pepper. Thanks for joining us on the JAXUSL Report.